I enjoy good music, and I'm really happy that Lubbock's getting to experience, quote, a really big time concert. I think it's events like the Paul McCartney concert that are helping Lubbock become known as a small metropolitan area, not a small country town, but a small metropolitan area. And I think the word's getting out.
First things that I recall about the Beatles was when you sit there and you see that iconic picture of them, that photo of them getting off an airplane, and you just see the throngs of just screaming fans were just so emotional. And I think that's one of the things that the Beatles brought, is just really a revolution to how rock and roll in the States sort of changed.
Say you want a revolution, well, you know, we all want to change the world.
I remember in my second grade class, the teacher brought in these big box of 45s, if you can imagine now how old I am. And I remember rifling through there and trying to find the Beatles. And there were all these other great bands, I'm sure, but the only one that I really was interested in was the Beatles. And I got my 45 of, and I love her.
Starting high school in about the mid to late 60s, they of course came over from England, and I can remember sitting in my living room watching them on the Ed Sullivan Show for the first time. And the immediate impact that they had upon not only music, but the culture of people my age was really fascinating.
You know, their music it's a story, and I think that resonates across generations. Last night, I was looking at my daughter's, who is 11 years old. I was looking at her wall, and on one of her walls, and she's decorated her room by herself, and she's got the Beatles on her wall, and she's 11 years old. And she loves the lyrics, and she loves their music. And so I think it's something that it goes back to the story, and that's what he, to me, represents. And you go through, you know, from a solo perspective all the way back to the beginnings with the Beatles, and you know, it's good storytelling.
There's a connection all the way back to 1955 when Elvis Presley came here and played at the Cotton Club. And in the audience were young Buddy Holly, Waylon Jennings, Mac Davis, some other musicians who would be very important in terms of West Texas music and worldwide music. And it was interesting that a technician who they interviewed was mentioning how John Lennon, during the dress rehearsal, had asked him whether this was the same stage where Buddy Holly and the Crickets had performed, and he said, it's not only the same stage, but you're standing in the exact spot where Buddy Holly was performing. And it was, you know, made it sound like it was really overwhelming for John Lennon, because Buddy Holly and the Crickets had such a huge influence over the songwriting of Lennon and McCartney early on. And so I would imagine that's part of the incentive for Paul McCartney to come here.
Lubbock is so important, and it inspires a lot of good stories. And so I think that's one of the things that I really want people to take away from the concert.
He's a consummate professional. I think he's one of the musicians from his generation that is really paying very close attention to the quality of his music and surrounding himself with good musicians and good sound. We know that the USA is a great venue, having been to concerts there before, and that they usually do a great job with the sound, and just an opportunity to hear from a very, very influential musician, not only in rock and roll, but I think in popular culture worldwide.